guys, welcome back. EryxUK here with my monthly gaming review number 8. It's not been a particularly great month of gaming this time round, unfortunately. Pardon me, as you can see. Warhammer wise, the club's been doing alright. It's been kind of odd. As you may know if you watched the last vid, we have had a guy, basically one of our almost founding members, leave the club. It's an odd state of affairs. Some of the stuff, his reasons for doing it, I can understand, even if I don't fully support them. And there's some stuff that, quite frankly, I find a little bit irritating. That's and a little bit silly. But unfortunately he's left, and because he doesn't turn up, his cousin doesn't turn up, so we're down 2 people. Then we've got someone who he's a bit of a power player, a bit of a power gamer. His pleasure in the game comes from basically crushing his opponent. He wants to win at all costs, and in the past he has been caught cheating. And this was, sort of firmly put to him, and he stopped doing it. Put on that. But he won't tone down his power gaming. He refuses to do it whatever he plays, whether it's Magic the Gathering or something else. Because, as he says, his enjoyment comes from playing a certain level of the game. He doesn't like playing at a lower level, like a more casual play. He wants to play top of the line. And where 40k is concerned, he's picked up the rulebook, he's skimmed it, he's not properly read it, so he's caught out on a number of rules, and he's still playing as though the game was 5th edition. And he's had 2 games so far. First one against me, and because he was still playing under the 5th edition style of play, I completely pwned him entirely. And then Thursday just gone, he had a second game against my nephew, and unfortunately they came to, I don't know exactly what happened, but they came to sort of like an argument, and both of them basically just put their toys back in their cases as it were and walked off. And to the point where I can see this particular player might just stop playing entirely. He says that 6th edition has spoiled his game. It's not as fun as it used to be. He basically he hasn't read the rules properly. He's skimmed them. He's known for doing this. He assumes that everything works pretty much the same until he learns otherwise. Except you can't do that. You've got to read the rules and know what's happened, or you're not going to win. You're not going to get the enjoyment out of the game. So that's kind of put me in a little bit of a bad mood. And we've got another player who might be dropping out as well. For, again, a reason which I won't go into because it's fairly personal to him, but quite frankly it irritates the hell out of me because there's no reason for it in my mind. But other than that, the guys are beginning to get around to start playing the practice games for the Warhammer Fantasy League that's coming up. It's a doubles league. I won't be taking part in that. I don't play fantasy anymore. But considering they've had like 3 months to get practice games in, and it's only a couple of weeks away, I feel they've kind of left it a little bit late. Other than that, the club's going quite well. Roleplay wise, it's been fairly quiet. The Friday night game has changed, which is a little bit irritating. One of the players really wanted to run something, but they didn't want to add another game in on the opposite Friday, and so the guy who was running his own world has decided that we've reached a convenient point where he can then spend the next few months writing the next chapter, and meanwhile this other chap can run a game, and he's running the Rise of the Rune Lords campaign for Pathfinder. And we've got a really odd mix of characters. What he's also done is he said that we have to have a campaign trait, and quite frankly I didn't want one. It sounds a bit odd, but I don't like the trait system in Pathfinder, and I really don't like having to take something that I wouldn't otherwise do. I just kind of want to play my character and go with it. But we've got an odd mix. I'm playing a Catfolk Paladin, We've got a cleric, a human. I think we've got a human rogue who is very much out for himself. I don't know how much of a party player he's going to be. And we've got a sorcerer, but again, a not particularly competent one. Sorry, not a sorcerer. I tell a lie. A magus, I think he's playing actually. And that started off quite well. It's a little combat heavy, and now we're at a point where, quite frankly, I feel that my character is almost out of his depth a little bit, and I'm going to stick with it. But I felt that after the initial build-up, there's a sudden drop-off on what you're doing, and we've kind of been left in this town to look after it for several days. And it's like, yeah, but we've got these other things to do. We can't just sit here and twiddle our thumbs, as it were. But anyway, yeah, I'm not going to dwell on that. It's an enjoyable game, but I kind of missed the original game we were playing. We haven't had a chance to continue the Cthulhu game we were doing, because every time we come to it, there's one or two players who can't make it for whatever reason, which is really kind of frustrating. I also think, because of the way things are going, it won't be a regular thing. It's just going to be, we'll finish this scenario and that'll be it. Which again is a little bit disappointing. Friday just gone, I ran a session of the new Primeval RPG, which I did a review the other day. Very simple system, but I came up with the same problem I have with very simple systems, is that the game never seems to quite work with it. Everybody, is a much more experienced role player. They want a bit more mass to the system. It just isn't there. And so I wasn't overly happy how the game turned out. I think it might also be the fact that I've only read the rulebook 2 or 3 times, and just kind of assumed that I knew what I was doing, because the system is 90% the same as the Doctor Who Adventures in Time and Space game. But it was quite fun to have dinosaurs running around and what have you. I just don't think they did the scenario in keeping with with the show. They weren't overly proactive on trying to keep things secret. As for the Sunday night games, they've basically been off for the last 3 weeks because of illness or what have you. One of the guys has been really unwell for a couple of months, and it basically means that he doesn't want to drive all the way over to the game and back again on a night before work. If we could have done it on a Saturday, which isn't really doable, it'd have been okay. I just hope he gets better soon so we haven't got the same problem. Or I've been ill the last couple of weeks, and one of the guys, one of those that I mentioned about the 40k tournament, is dropping out of my game. So yeah, it's been really, really quiet on a gaming front this month. It's not been a particularly great one, as I say, with illness and people kind of being an arse about things. Well, I'm hoping that's now behind us and we can move on and get some good gaming in towards the end of the year. But anyway, that's been a fairly boring update this time around. I apologise for that. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.